1,000 Chinese IVD companies and decision makers to join. IVD China enables the IVD business development or collaboration. For today's webinar, we have 3 speakers, and let me introduce our first speaker, Alan Ma, the CEO of MENA region of BGI Genomics, who have a great experience of the international market, especially in Saudi Arabia. Let's welcome him to give a short introduction about himself and the introduction of Ms. Sofia and Dr. Zafa. Welcome. I would welcome Alan.
Thank you. So we'll start the presentation from my side, right?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. So before my sharing today, I would like to introduce my very good friend, Sofia. And Sofia, for sure, I'm sure a lot of people from China medical field and the IVD field know her very well. And she is currently serving more than 100 Chinese medical device companies and IVD companies as the gateway to Saudi Arabia from the regulatory affairs perspective and also the consultation perspective. And we have Dr. Zafar with us today. So Dr. Zafar actually he's the counterpart from the Tibia side, and we have a joint venture company. He's the board member as well, the board member of our joint venture company. At the same time, he's the chief portfolio officer from Tibia. So Tibia is the subsidiary company of Faisaliah Group, which is one of the most prestigious royal family here. And then they have a wide portfolio in the medical field, in the radiology sector, so partner with Philip, and in the ICR and IVD business, so partner with BGI, and currently is working on the IVF and also the oncology, that's a cancer disease treatment field as well. So for sure, I will give floor to Dr. Zafar later. I will start the sharing from my side first. So let me share my screen. Okay, so today, so it's my great honor to participate in this event and share my story and BGI story in Saudi Arabia from 2020 to 2024. Actually, BGI we were presented in Saudi Arabia, which is more than 10 years ago. But at that time, it's much focused on the scientific research and the international collaboration in the research field. And I believe the COVID-19 gave us a golden opportunity to understand this market well. So this is the start of our story. I have to go back to the beginning of the story. Since the pandemic, the kingdom were looking for the support from the Chinese government to support the pandemic control and the COVID-19 screening project. So this is under the two government between the kingdom and the Chinese government, and they appoint BGI to be the exclusive partner for the national-wide COVID-19 PCR screening programs. So this is the signing ceremony. At the same time, we built up 5 labs across the kingdom, and we conducted more than 17 million PCR tests in 21 months. So at that time, we have an intensive collaboration and a deep engagement with the healthcare sector. We sent 500 technicians working in 5 labs. At the same time, we trained more than 400 local staffs, and we helped the kingdom to build up the SOP standards for the molecular testing. So during this journey, we understand this market very well, and we believe that it is a really very prominent future in the healthcare sector. Actually, now the healthcare sector is driven by the privatization. So we can understand that the healthcare sector expenditures is ranking number 2, followed by the education expenditures. So in the kingdom. So actually, each year they spend more than 62 billion riyal in the healthcare sector, and currently 38% is going to the private sector. But the strategy under the 2030 vision, that is to encourage more business to be the private sector. So currently we can see a lot of public-private partnership programs is undergoing. For example, in the radiology sector. So now talking about the independent radiology center. In the dialysis sector, now talking about the independent dialysis platform to be operated by the private sector. As well as in the laboratory sector, the same strategy. They want to privatize it and to introduce the private sector who is working and a professional in this field to operate the public laboratory as well. So this is the first strategy and trend. And the second, I would like to give you a more information about the ICR and IVD business. So currently, we can see the per capita healthcare expenditures is still obviously much lower than the developed countries like US and the UK. And we can see the per capita testing in Saudi Arabia is about 11 items per year. So this is almost the same level like in China. So it's still a very long way to go compared with US, Australia, France, all these developed countries. But I believe in the coming future, this will be a very promising market. For example, now the government is encouraging the preventive healthcare measures. So a lot of screening programs were under the discussion with the government. And also we believe that the chronic disease will be a very critical issue now the government is facing. The chronic disease, genetic disease, because of the intermarriage rate is quite high in Saudi Arabia. So all this will be the driving in the future in terms of the testing items. And we can understand that the total market size is around $3.7 billion per year. Currently, the labs is conducting 372 million. This is based on 2 years back data, and I'm sure it is increasing. So we can understand that the average per test is around $10. And by now, the ICR labs is still only contribute less than 10%. So that's why we believe the ICR still have a long way to go to contribute more in the private hospital and in the government hospitals to conduct more testing under the privatization strategy. So regarding the methodology, so the blood chemistry, the hematology, and the biochemistry still are dominant market. From the value perspective, the histopatology, which is the pathology and the cytology, contribute a lot. Regarding the genetic, so this is where BGI we stand for. Previously, that almost more than 90% of the genetic testing is sent out of the kingdom. And during the pandemic, that the government encouraged BGI a lot and asked BGI to localize our genetic testing in the kingdom. So we can say the genetic testing from the volume perspective contributes 3%, but from the value perspective, it is contributing more than 19%. And I will come to our story later. So this is why BGI will take this decision and to localize our services in the kingdom. So compare with the other countries that we believe that the ICR still have a very, very long way to go. And currently that's only 2% of the testing from the healthcare expenditures used in the laboratory. So compare with the developed countries still has a dramatic space to grow. Okay, so this is the story between BGI and with Faisaliah Group, with Tibia. So during the pandemic, we believe this is the future to provide more qualified, more precise testing to the local market, and which is the most important is to localize the genetic, the molecular, the specialized testing in the kingdom. So that's why we take this decision in 2021. And we take 2 years to complete our story. So this is by now, this laboratory is fully equipped and fully operated and with all the accreditations. Currently, we can say this is the biggest precise medication laboratory in the GCC. And it is not only for the genetic, but also we invest in the routine testing as well, because we would like to provide the full portfolio of testing. So this is our journey. So we start from 2021 to start the discussion with Faisaliah Group. And from that, we signed MOU, we signed the joint venture agreement, and start the construction of the laboratory at the end of 2021. So we take almost 1 year to complete the construction of the laboratory. and we take another 1 year to get all the certificate, like the local civil defense certificate, commercial activity license, as well in the professional certificate like the MOH license, CAP, and SIBAHI. So at the last, what I want to say that is, so in the past 2 years, as BGI Group, we take Saudi as our strategic market, and from the talent, from the capital, from the technology transfer perspective, actually we invest a lot, and it is not an easy journey to understand this market. So I'm sure everyone, you are heading to Saudi, you believe Saudi is a golden mine, because the 2030 vision, because a lot of mega projects is undergoing. But from my personal experience, that Saudi market has a very high standard and a very high, let's say, quality required from all the market, and the reputation, the branding. So all these things are very important. Currently, the government is encouraging to be localized your services, to use the local talent. So all these are the new challenges. So the last what I want to say that is always the opportunities and the challenges are here. And I would like to use BGI as a bridge, as a platform, and to use our experience, which we accumulated in the last 2 years, to help all of you. So thanks for listening. And I would like to give floor to Dr. Zafa, which is our partner here. And he will share from the local perspective, what is the market size and how to penetrate this market and what is the regulations needed. So please, now floor with you, Dr. Zafar.
Thank you, Mr. Allen, for the lovely introduction. And good afternoon, everybody in China. I guess it's 3 o'clock there. So really, I'm honored to be a part of this presentation and discussion and see how we can help the companies to come and establish here, keeping in mind the global changes and mainly the changes happening in Saudi Arabia. A little bit about my background. I spent almost 20 years in GCC. Most of the life was in UAE, and then I moved to Saudi Arabia, where I happened to get a good friend called Alan. And then we are now setting up a new journey in this. As Alan mentioned, our parent company is Faisaliah Group. It's highly diversified business, right from milk production to technology. They have a private equity arm. They facilitated a lot of business, and and they have let's say a huge portfolio of healthcare companies, which will help the Saudi government to realize their vision of 2030. So I'll quickly share my screen, and I will try to be as precise as possible as to what are the IVD challenges in this market, where the government support is there to build in a fantastic network of IVD businesses here, encouraging the companies from globe, especially China, to come and establish themselves here. Right, so I'll share my screen now. I hope you are able to see this screen, and if you are not, please let me know. So the topic of my presentation is about in vitro diagnostics market in Saudi Arabia. As we know, in vitro diagnostics are nothing but the mechanics of the business, which is associated with testing, whether it is services part or the supply of instruments or the reagents. So I'll be touching upon these 5 elements, which will give you a brief as to how Saudi Arabia could be a potential target for the companies based out of China. Now, if you look at the in vitro diagnostic market, it is assumed that it will touch almost $1.4 billion by 2030. And it has got a very tremendous growth rate in the next 7 years. If you look at it from in 2023, from 800 million, it will reach up to 1.4 billion. And this in vitro diagnostics, as I mentioned, is composed of 3 aspects. One is reagent. The other one is the services, which is catered by the largest lab like us, which is in collaboration with BGI. This is the lab business. And what are the instruments? So basically, we're talking about these 3 triangles, or these 3 elements, which form a triangle of the in vitro diagnostic market. Okay. So we are expecting a 6% plus annual growth rate. Now, this is mainly driven not only by the population growth, but also by the increased spending by the government in the healthcare segment. Now, as the population age, as more and more people come into the workforce stream, as more and more international players are coming in, this market is likely to grow, and there's 100% support by the government to facilitate this growth. Now, in vitro diagnostic market, if I look at it and then go a little technical in this one, it is defined in the following disease areas, which is infectious disease, oncology, cardiology, diabetology, autoimmune disease, neurology, and the basic biomarkers which are there. Now, one of the things which I wanted for people to understand that what are the available or immediate opportunities. The immediate opportunities lies in point of care testing, which is growing by over 4% per annum. Now, point of care testing are those devices which can be used in a doctor's chamber for testing any kind of a biochemical or hematological marker. Second aspect is molecular diagnostic market, which is again going by 6%. The tissue diagnostic market, this is one of the major segment of the cancer testing, is by 10%. And next generation sequencing is also growing by 10% annually. So as you can see, more and more growth is happening in the area of 3 and 4, which is the tissue diagnostics and next generation sequencing. As the technology evolves and as the technology becomes cheaper, you'll find more and more people adopting the next generation sequencing. Okay. Now, this is the slide which explains where we stand in terms of the overall market related to the in vitro diagnostics. I just want to give you a brief that there are more than 400 plus hospitals in this country. More than 272 are controlled by the government. There are 180 plus ambulatory care centers, but only 5 of them are with the government. There are labs in the blood banks, and there are primary healthcare centers. So if you look at the two angles, that means labs, this is one of the growth area because here most of the IVDs happen. As more and more private hospitals are coming in, the IVD business is likely to grow up. Government also wants to get out of the managing the the government hospitals, so they might release the services. As my friend mentioned, that there will be a public-private partnership projects related to specialty services like oncology, like nephrology, like radiology, and also the government will eventually give the management of the hospitals and the entire procurement later on. Similarly, primary healthcare centers, which is one of the biggest cost item for the healthcare centers, would be eventually a big market for the IVD here. Okay, this to just give you a trend that how the players from US and Europe are faring in this part of the world. As you can see, most of these companies are from US and Europe. They have been here for a long time. Of course, they had a huge cost element compared to the companies coming from China. So there's a good opportunity for the Chinese companies to come and market their product. And I myself have tested a lot in the IVD space. I have found the products to be very high quality, very reliable, and also the servicing of those products are very good. So there are a couple of companies which are already active here in Saudi Arabia as well as in UAE. So you guys, and especially people from China, I think quality-wise, you're far better than these people what we are talking about. But one thing we have to understand that these big players have deep pockets. And with the deep pockets, they are consolidating the market by acquisitions, right? So just to give you some example, bioMérieux acquired Lumid, especially they are very high in antimicrobial prescription and infectious monitoring. Sysmex is having a global partnership with Roche, especially in the hematology segment, which is a massive business, like your simple CBCs or the blood tests are done there. Unilabs is now having a considerable investment in Siemens, which is again related to radiology. So you can see the big players with deep pockets are actually going the acquisition route so that they create the synergies and then come to the Middle East, especially in Saudi Arabia. One more important thing which I want to share here, that almost 70% of the GCC market for healthcare is in Saudi Arabia. So that's why people would like to invest. There's a lot of focus by the government to bring in best of the international companies. The Saudi is opening up, and it's going through a tremendous transformation, which will help most of the companies to come and establish. Now, from the regulatory perspective, if anybody wants to come and establish something here, you have to deal with the following authorities, starting with the Ministry of Investment, Ministry of Health, Saudi Commission for Health Specialities, NUPCO, which is the National Procurement Company, and the number one is Saudi Food and Drug Authority, because these are the approving authority for any in vitro diagnostics to be sold in this country. This is a simple guideline. You can read it through in any of the web pages there. What are the requirements to set up or to have a market access for the in vitro diagnostics? I'm not going to go into the details of it, but these are available. But I thought it would be nice for you guys to have a look at it later on. Now, market entry strategy. There could be two aspects, as you see. It could be trading with the medical device and pharma players. You apply for the SFDA approval. You can get into pharmacies or you can get into medical distributorship. And it could be one more thing here in the trading part is that if you can come as a foreign investors, the government is also approving that somebody comes and establish the factories here or production line here. And the government is giving a lot of grants/subsidies to establish your manufacturing facility. And mind you, once you have your local manufacturing facility, you do get quite a lot of discount in the government procurement system. And in the services, you can have a local partner or a direct trading or through the accelerated route for having a market entry. And these are just a few examples how the Ministry of Investment in Saudi Arabia is supporting. So if you don't have a business case, if you want some support as to how or what should the market look like, how should I enter into the market, what would be my investment size, what is the IRR will I get, there is a way that the government helps you to prepare that business case. And this is something unique in Saudi Arabia. I don't think so any other country is doing it. You come here, contact the investment office, they will prepare the entire business case for you and you take it forward from there. So this is just the two examples from me. And with that, I think I will end my presentation. Thank you for your time, guys. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Zafar. Thanks for your very detailed briefing and also the know-how sharing from the local perspective. So now I would like to invite Sofia. And for sure, Sofia is very famous in our community, and a lot of Chinese manufacturers, IVD companies know her very well. And actually, Sofia support me, even personal, a lot to help me for the product registration 2 years ago when my first step go to Saudi market. So I would like to invite Sofia to share her story.
Thank you, Mr. Alan, and thank you for the great introduction of me. Yeah, I appreciate. And yeah, I was really good to know just now about the most successful story between China and Saudi of BGI and Genolife. And just now, Dr. Zafar gave us the very valuable and leading instruction about the opportunities in Saudi. Today, I got a chance to share with about the opportunities and challenges about Saudi market. Please allow me to share my screen. So this is the map of MENA, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the largest country in the Gulf with a population around 37 million. By 2030, the kingdom plans to reach a new high of 50 to 60 million in populations. And the kingdoms has the largest healthcare.
首先，你那个 size 好像有问题，你这个 PPT 的 size 好像有问题，我们看不到全屏。我不知道大家在线上看不看得到全屏。
Yeah, can you see the screen?
你这是 PDF 吧
Yeah.
对你用 PPT 版吧，可以是吧？
我这边可以。
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Sure, please allow me to continue. Yeah. So the kingdom have the largest healthcare system in the region and account about 60% of GCC's healthcare expenditure. In 2023, the government allocated about $50 billion to healthcare and social development, respecting around 17% of annual budget. Under Vision 2030, over 65 billion has been concentrated to the development of medical infrastructure. And inside Saudi, around 95 of the medical devices and the IVDs rely on imports. And I will start for the medical journey in Saudi since 6 years ago and working with more than 115 Chinese manufacturers to enter Saudi. And currently I'm officially AR for more than 120 Chinese manufacturers, covered most of the leading Chinese manufacturers, and got approval for MENA for over 260 and covered all the medical devices and the IVDs. There are the clients I'm working with, Mandarin and Autobio and Mercura and also Mr. Allen, BGI. Since 2019, I will start work with Mandarin and the other 40 Chinese brand. And 2020, Autobio start to enter Saudi. And 2021, I got a chance to work with BGI. And 2023, and Mercura start working with us to enter Saudi. This year, we start to work with Icon and Newman. Let's talk about the challenges and opportunities in registration first. Just now, Dr. Zafar shared a lot of information. It's really useful and covered most of all the like regulatories of registration. So from my side, I would like to share from the challenges and opportunities. Let's say the first challenge is the high cost. Since TFA pass, there are maximum 5 technical files can be combined in one application. Especially for IVD registration, there will be huge amount minimum. And the SFDA will charge from $4,000 to $6,000 for per minimum. So to finalize one Chinese huge manufacturer for registration, it will be a high cost. So when the Chinese manufacturer enters Saudi, they need to evaluate it about the investment. The second challenge will be the technical files. As we know, just Dr. Zafar shared the screen. There are more details than before to go to MENA. Once we have the full technical files, we will get a chance to go to MENA. But if without it, there is impossible. Here are the details from the GHAD portal. And the third challenge will be the renewal workload. As currently the situation transferred from IVDD to IVDR, this month we are facing huge workload for renew. Most of the MENA expired and they are facing difficulties for clear their goods from the customers, renew the MENA, all these details. And in these pictures are my clients, Shenzhen Mandarin. They are also at the same stage of renew. And the fourth challenge will be the audit and clinical. And during Corona time, to be honest, there isn't too much audit or clinical requests for SFDA. But this year, a lot of my clients got the notice that they need to be audited and they need more technical trials inside Saudi. Now, this email is between my clients, Lepu with SFDA. Now, besides the challenges, we have more opportunities. So as we know now, in most of the countries, we need CE to do the registration. But in Saudi, even without CE, we have full technical files. We can got the minima to enter this country. So in this picture, you can see even without the reference countries, we can go ahead in Saudi. The second opportunity will be the old minima can be renewed. And can we see the photos? They are, this minima contains more than 50 products in one MENA. And these 50 products can be renewed together, and the renew fee will be very low than the new registration. For this page, it will only cost like 1,000 SAR. And if we renew like 3 years, it's only 5,000 SAR. So the third opportunity will be the SFDA now still accepts the clinical evaluation report. So we no need specially to do the evaluation inside Saudi without the specific requirement. And the fourth opportunity is except the top brand, most of the other manufacturers will take a long process to obey the technical files. But for Chinese manufacturers, they will make it faster and to got this chance to enter Saudi earlier than most of the other countries. Opportunities of IVD market. The first challenge will the very high competition. This is the data I collected from MedLab 2024. And as the private IVD players inside Saudi is about 40, and the top players will be 8, including Faisaliah. And the top Chinese IVD manufacturers inside Saudi is around 15, include BGI, Mandarin, Autobio, all this is 15. And the international IVD manufacturer enter MedLab 2024 is around 850, including 350 from China. So it means 350 Chinese manufacturers are planning to enter Saudi, work with 40 private Saudi IVD players. This is really high competition. And the second challenge will be the lack of diversity of infrastructure. And as we know, to build a Saudi team is not that easy for different cultures, for different, suppliers of the services. So we need to have a marketing team, international engineer team, and post-marketing service team, and maintenance team. All this team, if we start this market in Saudi, we need to prepare a site, not only sales team. And the third challenge will be the lack of the informations. Now, just now, Dr. Zafar sharing some very useful information about NUPCO, about SFDA. Yes, exactly. When we enter Saudi, most of the Chinese manufacturer will know MOH, will know SFDA, but they will take time to know the others, like NUPCO, like NCP. But when we work, we will feel that there are a lot of knowledge to learn and a long way to go. And let's talk about the opportunities in Saudi IVD market. The first big opportunity in the support between the two countries. We know that the relationship between China and Saudi become very different now. And the second opportunity will be the Chinese manufacturers will have very friendly budget with a full solution. Most of the Saudi, especially top players, they are looking for full solution from 1 or 2 specific suppliers. So this will match each other very well. And the third opportunity, the Chinese business owners, now they have realized the importance and difficulties in Saudi market. They have started to explore in Saudi market by themselves. This is the photo. This gentleman is the owner of Norman. He come to MedLab by himself to stay by himself. The opportunities. And then let's talk about the challenges and opportunities for localization. I think this is really big opportunity and a big situation. The first challenge for localization will be the lack of the base of raw materials and the supply chain. As we know, China built the full supply chain for raw material basis takes more than 10 years. Saudi also start to do this localization for manufacturing preparation, but it will take some time. The second challenge will be the lack of the industry base. Once we start to do the localization, all the resource will be requirement, for example, international engineers, post-marketing service, maintenance, and also the other expert related. And the third challenge is how to maintain the financial stabilization. I think this is a really good topic, even for every manufacturers who want to enter Saudi. As we know, the cost in Saudi is higher than China, and also the local procedure is much longer. So to keep a financial stabilization is the first question they need to consider. And after the challenges, we can see the big opportunities. Now, the strong support from the Saudi government. We can see this picture. Even I see this picture like several weeks ago. I have more confidence for the localization. Saudi Arabia aims to localize 90% of its Islam's need. It means the most of the Islams will produce in Saudi, and this trading will be very small soon. And the second opportunity will be GCC requirement. Once we have Saudi products, we will cover most of all the GCC countries and also the Africa. So it will be also a big market. And the third opportunity will be the capital support. This number makes us have more confidence. Let's say the healthcare global sector fund was the only one who is going up higher and higher, even more than the technical part. Now, just now, Mr. Allen said that it's not easy journey to understand the Saudi market. Yeah, I totally agree. So once we take the decision to enter Saudi, please be very serious, be focused, and be very patient. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sophia. So actually, I think three of us, we elaborate this story from different angles. So Dr. Zafa, so he's, as just now Sophia mentioned, one of the top distributor agency and the local partner in Saudi Arabia. And actually they have a wild experience to dealing with Chinese companies. Sophia gave the story from the gateway perspective, how to access this market, what is the difficulties and the challenges. And today I'm here just to share a story. So what is a very valid, story in the past 3 years? What is the difficulties and what is the journey we have passed? I believe now the floor is open and we welcome the questions from all of you. Please. So what potential opportunities? Okay, let's take this question. So what are suggestions for international IVD companies who want to enter in the Saudi market and regarding to find the local partner? So I would like to give this question to Dr. Zafar, since Tibia is one of the top distributors and the local partners for the international brands. So please.
So I think there are easiest way to enter into Saudi market is through distribution, and you can look for a good reliable partner here, as most of the business is still Ministry of Health tender dependent. So that is almost 80% of the business for distribution is again through NUPCO. So it would be good to look at the partner who is having a good presence in NUPCO. The product quality, the product serviceability, etc. I'm not getting into the details. So the entry strategy starts with 3 areas: signing a distributor agreement, getting approval of SFDA, the Saudi Food and Drug Administration, Third is registering your company or a partnership in the Ministry of Chamber and Commerce. Then your partner, the local Saudi partner, will register all the products which are coming up. What are the certifications which you have? As Sophia rightly mentioned, that you don't need to have a CE. Chinese companies are well accepted here, and an easy cakewalk. But one thing I want to tell you and re-emphasize Sophia's point, in terms of cost, in terms of technology, and in terms of serviceability, I think the Chinese companies do beat the Americans and the European companies here. I hope I've answered the question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zafar. I'm sure later, so after this webinar, I'm sure a lot of inquiries will come. Me and Sophia, we will discuss with you and how can we support to use the experience we already, let's say we already accumulated in the past 2 years, work day and night. So the second question I would like to take regarding the local manufacturing, since this is the strategy under the 2030 vision, the localization and to enable the local manufacturing. So this is the strategy put by the Saudi government, as well as I know a lot of Chinese IVD companies, and they want to go abroad, no matter from the trading or from the sales, and the ultimate goal that is the localize the test, the manufacturing capabilities. So that's why I would like to give this question to Ms. Sophia. So from your perspective, because just now you touched these keywords in your presentation. So from your perspective, what is the major opportunities and the challenges? Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Allen. So for the localization, indeed that I will study this for more than 1 year. Keep on study, talk with the Chinese manufacturer, and also especially for the Saudi big families related to the medical field. For the localization from the Chinese to localization in Saudi is really a new topic. But for the Saudi part, it's not new. We have did this for drug already. And we can say that there are a lot of big drug manufacturers in Saudi. And for localization for medical devices, it starts. But this journey has started already since 10 years ago. They start from packaging and labeling and all this. Now they start to like 30%. Some of them already reach like 60%. They can do the localization, Saudization. It's really good. The procedure. The second part is the government support. As we know that the Saudi government is totally support for the localization. Once the localization for some specific products reach like 6 products, they will start to shorten the registration path for the same products. It means the Saudi production will have most of this field, and also at NUPCO part and also the other private purchase part, they will have some profit and some government support as well. This is the second part. And the third part is for the government regulations. Once we have a localization sector inside Saudi for the Saudi ID, we call it IGAMA, and the other like tax support, everything, this will be full package. It means we can got very low, it's not that much low, but much lower than the other identities inside Saudi to get the government support. This is the third part. And also the fourth part is the sales channels. If it's just a Chinese brand, our sales channel will be, okay, we will go to UAE first, and then maybe we will explore for Saudi as a bigger market. But once we start to do the localization, it's a totally different business model. Firstly, we will cover the Saudi NUPCO, and you will got government tenders and some private tenders, and then we will start to explore the GCCs, and this is not something new. The channels are already there. All the Chinese, the Saudi players, they have that channel, and also the Egypt and the Africa. The market will be another type. So this is the point from my side. Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Sophia. Yeah, so to explore the local manufacturing is actually really a long journey. What I want to comment that is, I always encourage that we start from the trading to understand this market well. At the same time, to think about the next step, so which is the local manufacturing training, local manufacturing. And for the local manufacturing, as Sophia mentioned, there are several steps. So also we can take the easiest one as a start. I see there is a question regarding the testing price, the charge. Actually, this is really we cannot get this answer in 1 or 2 minutes. But in general speaking, that for the routine testing, the price is let's say around 20 to 30% higher than the Chinese market. But it's a fierce competition because regarding the routine testing, Saudi has a lot of providers, service providers. But in terms of the specialized testing, for example, like the genetic testing, like the cytogenetics, so all these things, as I just now mentioned, so before the let's say before the pandemic, almost all of these testings are sent out, and currently BGI with Tibia and there are other international brands is working on the localization process to localize all this specialized testing in the kingdom. So by now, this market is still, I believe, is a blue ocean, and still it's a good opportunity. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question. Okay. So any further question?
Alan, just one comment, if I'm allowed.
Yeah, please.
I think there was this question that the potential opportunities for IVD products. I think it was discussed in my slide in terms of how the market is growing and what are the opportunities. Keeping in mind that right from the testing, which of course you require a local presence, but then the POCT testing offers a very good opportunity. And I know for there's a lot of companies based out of China and especially in the Peking and the Beijing area, where they are very good in terms of reading out at least 30 to 50 biochemical markers in a single drop of blood. So this market is growing. I think that could be an entry strategy for some people to enter if they are good enough. Other than that, they are mainly into biochemistry markers in competition directly with Roche and Abbott. So these are the also opportunities which can come through. Again, depending upon which business segment you're operating, whether it is right from the disposable gloves to the manufacturing of reagent to the manufacturing of instruments, the market opportunities are very, very high.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, totally agree with you. The POCT products, and especially now the Ministry of Health want to strengthen the, let's say, the primary healthcare centers. And currently there are more than 2,000 primary healthcare centers across the kingdom. So they would like to provide more accurate and more timely solutions. Okay. So I believe it's the end of the, let's say, Q&A session from our side. So I would like to give floor back to the organizer, please.
Thank you very much for today's participation, and it's a great sharing of experiences that helped understand more of the opportunities and challenges of Saudi Arabia's IVD and precision medicine market. So if you're interested with the topic of international collaboration, please feel free to join IVD China on August 4th to 6th, where we'll be having more international speakers to talk about more opportunity in different markets, such as EU and US. And thank you all, and thanks to all our speakers. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zafar. Thank you, Ms. Sophia. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, all attendees.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.